Today, we're talking sub 250 gram drones. Welcome, hope you're doing well. My name is Mike and I'm a Transport Canada certified advanced drone pilot. Lately I've been hearing more and more of people buying sub 250 gram drones because you don't need to follow any rules. That is a myth. There are rules you need to follow, and I'll break down what you need to know to fly safely and legally. Pretty sure that none of you want to end up in trouble just because you didn't know. Now, I'm not involved in writing the rules, but I had to study them pretty extensively to get my license. So I do have a good idea of what you can and cannot do. The actual law for sub 250 gram drones reads, you must not operate your drone in a reckless or negligent manner as to endanger or be likely to endanger aviation safety or the safety of anyone. Due to the fact that there's no requirement for a pilot's license or registration of the drone, a lot of people simply don't do their research and as a result end up breaking the law. The other problem comes into play when you consider other laws. The drone law is pretty clear, and we will cover some good practices in a bit. But in Canada, you could be arrested under other laws. What some people don't know or don't think about are privacy laws. In Canada, there is a reasonable expectation of privacy. What this means is if I'm in my home, I am guaranteed a level of privacy that you as a drone pilot could be arrested for invading. So let's talk hypothetically for a bit. Let's say that we're flying in a park taking a video and the people in that park are in public. If we happen to capture them in the video, there's not a whole lot they can do. Now let's say we're flying in our backyard and we happen to see in our neighbor's window. They can actually have us arrested for invasion of privacy. We were flying legally and safely, but we're still going to jail. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone away from flying, but I also don't want drone pilots arrested for something that could have been prevented. So let's talk about some good practices for a bit. There are 9 good practices that I like to follow when I'm flying my drone. Always stay within visual line of sight. Do not fly above 400 feet or 122 meters. Keep a safe distance between your drone and bystanders. Stay away from airports while flying. Avoid critical infrastructure. Stay clear of manned aircraft. Do a pre-flight inspection of your drone. Stay in range of your controller. And don't fly advertised events. Now we'll quickly go over these in a little more detail, but some will be quicker than others, but I'll try and keep the whole thing short. So always stay in visual line of sight. So keep your drone where you can see it. It's safer for you and your drone. If you can see your drone, it's far less likely you'll hit a tree or building or whatever else. Do not fly above 122 meters. The airspace below 122 meters is generally not occupied by manned aircraft. And there's also a lot less wind, so it's easier to control your drone. Keep a safe distance between your drone and bystanders. These are the people not directly involved in the flight. This distance can also change based on wind speed and pilot experience and the drone you happen to be flying. Stay away from airports. A small drone can very easily take down a 747. Even if you get away without a fine or jail time, would you be able to live with the fact that you may have killed people just for a cool shot? I know I'd feel pretty guilty for the rest of my life, and drones would no longer be any fun. So, don't do it. Avoid critical infrastructure. These are Canada's vital assets and systems such as our food supply, electricity grids, transportation, communication, public safety systems, etc. So basically avoid rail yards, electrical substations, police, emergency services, cell towers, and bridges. Stay clear of manned aircraft. Once again, potentially killing people for a cool shot? Not worth it. Do a pre-flight inspection. Now, we're not talking about an extensive front-to-back, inside-out, half-hour inspection, but check your props and airframe for damage or deformation. Make sure you have a memory card installed and a good charge on your battery and controller. Just a quick once-over before each takeoff. It could save your drone for another flight. Stay in range of your controller. This will generally make your flight more fun as well. I'd imagine that it wouldn't be very much fun to watch your $400+ drone flying away and not being able to do a thing about it. If you consult your owner's manual, it'll give you a pretty good idea how far that range is so that you can stay in control and land safely. Don't fly advertised events. This would be things like concerts, parades, sporting events, fireworks, grand openings, festivals, fairs. Well, you get the idea. These type of events have a tendency to draw large crowds, so it gets really hard to capture good video or pictures while avoiding bystanders. Not only will the pictures and video probably not be any good, you could end up endangering the safety of the general public. A couple other things to keep in mind. Because your micro drone is actually considered an aircraft, you have to follow some of the laws for aircraft as well. For example, you're not allowed to fly in Class F special use restricted airspace. Think air shows in the surrounding airspace, federal prisons, and military training facilities. You're also not allowed to fly where there's a NOTAM, or Notice to Airmen, for forest, fire, aircraft operating restrictions. You flying in these areas will ground the helicopters and water bombers. And you're also not allowed to fly in zones where a 5.1 of the Aeronautics Act restrict the use of airspace to all aircraft. This covers any airspace that has been deemed closed for aviation safety or the protection of the public. So hopefully you got some useful information from this video. If you want more information, feel free to contact me however you are the most comfortable. Also, if you don't mind, on your way out of the video, if you could hit one of the thumbs, preferably the one pointed up, it does help out a lot. Leave a comment if you so desire, and if you feel that I've provided you with some value, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. So until next time, bye bye.